Okay, so in this episode of Teacher Tools, I'm going to give you an updated review of ILOS as they've added some new tools and features since the last time that I did this. So this is the program that I use to make the majority of my videos, and I use it to host all of my videos. So you can do screencasts with ILOS. You can also, we can pop over so I can show you this little example. If you want to, you can do a split screen where you have your screen shown and then you can also have a video of you. So I'll play this for like 2 seconds so you can just see what I'm talking about.
Okay, so you should now be broken into your groups based on what kind of cameras you have.
So that's a feature that I really like, that I can go ahead and add myself in, and you can move yourself around and make this a variety of sizes depending on what works best for you. So a couple other features that we can look at as we're down here. So I haven't shared this video with any of my students yet, but once I do, I can actually start to see and even receive notifications if I want to when people have actually watched the video, which I find to be helpful. There is a nice space for comments or discussions. So if you want to have students have a discussion about a video, you can do that down here. I also like this instead of something like Vimeo or YouTube because it's in this kind of private consolidated environment, so students aren't easily going to end up on other videos. It doesn't recommend other videos. So when I just want to focus on the videos that I'm showing them, I like to feature it here so that it's not feeding into other channels. By using this, you can share videos just by sending the link. You can also track those links if you want to. You can also just pull this code and you can embed it in your website if you want to. You can edit from here. So if you go to the scissors, it has some really basic editing options, but they're quite easy, which is nice. So when you click on this plus sign, you can go ahead and trim parts of your video. You can also blur out parts of your video if you want to, and you can add music. So those are the only 3 things that you can do with editing, but they still cover most bases. Another thing that you can see right here that I really like about this program, and when anyone's watching any of your videos, they can change the speed that they're playing it at. So they can slow you down if you're going too quickly for what they're trying to understand, or they can speed you up. So I think that's really nice, and students like it when they're watching the videos, or if they're reviewing the videos, they can speed them up to a different pace, which is kind of cool. So back to this main screen. Some other things that a new feature that they just added is there's actually a quiz feature, which I'm going to show you on here. So when you're editing them, you can come over here and you have a bunch of options. So add to collections is just a nice way to organize them. It's basically putting them into folders. I've never played with adding subtitles, so I'm not going to talk a lot about that. But I like this questions feature where you can actually add quiz questions into it. So if I hit play for this.
What kind of digital camera do you have? And then what are the basic settings that you need to know to get started to take any photos of your camera? We're going to start by figuring out what kind of camera you actually have. While all DSLR cameras have a lot of the same functions and features, they're not all located in the same place. So we're going to start by looking at what kind of camera do you have. It's normally located somewhere on the front. So mine is a Nikon. You're most likely going to have a Nikon or a Canon, but there are some other brands as well. So you're going to start by finding that. And then you're going to see if you can locate the more specific number of your camera. So on mine, I can see right here, it says D500. So that means that I have a Nikon D500 camera. And make note of what kind of camera you actually have. And you're going to find as we go through things that you're going to need to do some searching as well, unless you happen to have the exact same camera as I do.
Okay, so I know you couldn't really understand me, but that was not the point. So you go ahead and teach them some things, and then you can have as many questions pop up as you want. I normally just go ahead and put 1. So then students would select what they think the answer is, hit submit, and then they can hit play. What this will do, what it's even counting right here, is how many people have taken it and how many have selected with, and you can actually download data for how students are answering your questions. So it can be a way to make sure that they're really understanding what they're watching in the videos, but have them interact with the videos throughout the process, which is one of the new features that I really, really like. So those are just a couple basic reasons why I prefer using this. Also, when you can record directly from here, which is what I'm doing right now. You can also upload videos. So if you make videos elsewhere, Like I do make a lot of videos with my document camera. Even these camera videos, those were made with my dock camera. So then you can upload them into iLos and then add other features once it's in here. So you don't have to make everything right from this program. And then these are some examples of where you can start to organize and store all of your videos. Which I think is really, really helpful. So there are some of these that I store here and I store on YouTube, really depending on how I'm planning to use it and how I want people to interact with the videos, depends on where I'm going to go ahead and store them. I will say this is not a free program, so I pay $15 a month for this program. Some other things about this, their customer support is really, really awesome, which is something YouTube and Vimeo don't really have. So if you're having any issues and you hit this little chat box and send them a message, they always respond, unless it's on the weekend, they always respond within a couple hours. So if you're not super comfortable with technology, this could also be helpful just because you're going to have a support system that you would not have on other platforms.